Hey there, so welcome back to another video, and today we are going to do one of the most weighted videos, which is basically going to list out 12 fragrances from the house of Ahmed Al Maghribi. Now these are definitely my picks and they're very subjective, so maybe these might not be the right kind of order that you're looking for, but I think these are fantastic fragrances to try to keep them in your collection, and that is one of the reasons why I've kept these partials with me, and I thought these are fantastic fragrances for you to enjoy all throughout. So let's get into the video and know which are the 12 fragrances and let's look at them. So you're watching the Perfume Experience and my name is Rodney. Let's get going right after this intro. Right, welcome back, and one of the honorable mentions in this particular video is going to be Marj. Okay, that's going to be one of the honorable mentions. Jood also is another honorable mention. Bombay Oud is also another honorable mention. And of course, Musk Kashmiri. Okay, and Summer Oud. Okay, so these are 3-4 fragrances or 5 fragrances are going to be honorable mentions because I have used them, I have tried them, but these don't come in my top 12, right? So keeping them out of the way, let's begin and let's start with number 12 on this particular list, and that has to go to Leather from the house of Ahmed. Okay, now this is a fragrance that's very leather dominant. It's a fragrance that's got a lot of raspberry going on as well. It's supposed to be an alt of Tom Ford's ombre leather, and it's got that typical strong leathery vibe with a little bit of a fruity elements. This is fantastic on performance, does last a really long time, and has got that animalic leathery vibe that is there, very typical, along with that raspberry. It's kind of mixes very well and gives you a lot of tart elements. So if you're looking for a excellent leather fragrance, a fragrance that can last for a really long time and project for a really long time, then this is definitely one to consider. Though this comes in a 50 ml bottle or in a box, I would say this is one of the lower end fragrances from them which really stood out. In fact, I did have a sample of it really long back, and I did get this just for this particular review. So if you kind of like the efforts, yes, hit the like button and subscribe. But otherwise, just coming back to the fragrance, yes, a very tart fragrance that can be worn for bike rides, it can be worn for parties, and for winters this is going to be a fantastic fragrance to consider. So if you're looking for a very beautiful leather fragrance that's done in a little bit of an animalic way, tart way, and a little bit of a woody elements, then definitely consider getting Leather from the house of Ahmed Al Maghribi. After Leather, another fragrance that's really kind of wowed me, but I somehow don't have a full bottle of it, is this fragrance called as Rose Nova. Now, Rose Nova is a fragrance that's actually very bold, very masculine, and feminine at the same time, in the sense to say it's a fragrance that's actually got a good amount of rose element. And this is one of those samples that I've literally exhausted completely, and I still have like probably a couple of sprays left, because it is one of those very beautiful, sweet, dominant kind of fragrance which is actually got kind of as a rose, tube rose kind of a vibe, but then it actually doesn't talk about tube rose as such. It talks about orange, jasmine, ginger, it talks about sea accords, it talks about Kashmir sandalwood. But for me, this is a fragrance that's more dominant towards a tube rose kind of a vibe. So you kind of think of like light elements of rose but more of tube rose, a good element of sandalwood, and amazing orange that's coming together. A very complex type of a fragrance. In fact, I would say this is one of those underrated fragrances from this house. Not a lot of people talk about it. If you're planning to gift this to somebody, especially your female friends or people who kind of like wearing floral type of fragrances, then this is a fantastic one to try. So yes, this also is in the ballpark figure of 2,000 rupees. So at number 11 is Rose Nova. Now this also projects really good. It's a loud fragrance, albeit it being a floral type of a fragrance, and it lasts very well as well. Does about 6 to 7 hours time. Overall, it's a very good fragrance to try, especially if you're looking to wear something different, something comforting, something that's going to smell really good on you and also get you compliments, then definitely try wearing Rose Nova. Now let's come to the type of fragrances that we actually absolutely enjoy from this house. One of the beautiful fragrances to come out of this house is Blue Oud from Ahmed Al Maghribi. Now this is a very beautiful take in a way where there is sandalwood that's coming across and there is leather that's coming across, but it is more of dominant on the sandalwood type of a element. It's very woody, it's sweet, it's mild, and there is a light element of oud and the light element of leather coming together, but it's held together together by the saffron type of a vibe with a beautiful blend of sandalwood. You can say that this is more of a sandalwood dominant fragrance, albeit there is also Bombay Oud, which is supposed to be on the sandalwood dominant side, but I feel one of the nicer fragrances to wear, one of the more complementing ones, one of the little sweeter ones, and something that really lasts nicely is Blue Oud. Now this one will give you about 6-7 hours time of lasting definitely. Projects pretty decently well. I would say it goes on a little softer profile, though it does have strong elements, but it does go soft after some time. But overall, if you're looking for a very classy type of a fragrance to look at and that you want to wear especially throughout the year, something that you want to wear for celebrations, something that you can think about wearing even for date nights or parties and all of that, is definitely Blue Oud from the house of Ahmed Al Maghribi. Next, let's talk about a freshie that when Ahmed Al Maghribi came into India, this was probably one of the fragrances that was actually very, very popular. But then came the other fragrances and this got sidelined, and I'm talking about Muzn. Okay, now Muzn is a fragrance where if you like fruity fragrances, especially with the melon type of a note where there is that sweetness and there is that marine accord and there is a little bit of woody accord as well, this is fantastic to consider because this is fruity, this is musky, this has got sandalwood. The most common element on this is the musk that goes along with melon. Very, strong juice as well. Very nice kind of a fragrance. The beauty of this is that this lasts really long, and surprisingly, as a fresh type of a fragrance, fresh fruity type of a fragrance, this is fantastic for summers, everyday wear, and especially for office use. You can definitely wear it. Now this is very unisex in my opinion as well, so even if you have colleagues or if your partner wants to try this fragrance, you can absolutely pull it off. And because it's got a little bit of a sweet kind of a profile along with a bit of musk and that marine type of an element, this is going to go very well. People will appreciate you wearing this, people will acknowledge you wearing it. It's a very beautiful fragrance to consider, and like I said, the lasting is not a problem. You easily get about 6-7 hours. Projection is also very, very good on this one. In fact, if you like calf, you are more likely to like this, but if you do have that, then I would suggest don't get this as well. But if you're looking at top 10-12 fragrances from this house, Muzn should definitely be on this particular list. From Muzn, let's go to another freshie, the one that kind of raged this summer all throughout. I'm talking about the most popular one probably from this line is the Calf. A Calf is supposed to be an alternate of the Abercrombie and Fitch Fierce. So this is a fragrance that's got ginger, citruses, some white floral elements, a lot of citrusy elements, woody elements, and done really, really well. So overall, it smells sweet, it smells very fresh, it smells aquatic at the same time, and of course does have that very beautiful blend of citrus and white flower elements coming together to give you one kind of a fresh, refreshingly beautiful aromatic vibe where there is this thing about freshness and the part about getting you compliments. Because of its sweet nature, it's really, really good. Now the best part is it's a very good performer, like in high heat or in high temperatures, or if you want a fragrance that can last you a long time, then this is definitely one of them. In good summers, good heat also, this will do 5-6 hours easily. In moderate heat, it can go up to 7-8 hours on apparels as well. Projection is fantastic. You get 2.5-3 feet of projection. Overall, excellent value for money. Now this was very expensive when during the summers it was going up to 2,200, 2,400 rupees. Now it's kind of dropped down, so you should be able to comfortably get this for 1,400, 1,500 rupees, sub below that category as well. So if you're looking for a very beautiful, citrusy, white floral, woody type of a fragrance that can be worn all across the year, you can think about it that way as well. One of the most versatile fragrances as well to wear is definitely Calf. After Calf comes a fragrance that I actually got as a small sample first, and then it became a full-fledged bottle. I'm talking about Mani, and there is a sample here. So Mani is a definite surprise. It's one of those fragrances that actually outperforms and is probably underrated again, because this is a fragrance that's got fruity floral vibes, a little bit of a lavender type of a vibe as well. This is an alternate of the Dolce & Gabbana's K by Dolce & Gabbana. Now it's got that blood orange type of an element coming into this particular fragrance. It's got a little bit of a woody element as well. Overall, I would say this is one of the nicest fragrances that you can try. And like I said, it's got this blood orange, it's got juniper, it's got magnolia, it's got vetiver, but then it's also got a lot of oud and patchouli. Now the oud is the part that's added by Ahmed Al Maghribi Maghribi to give you that long lasting and depth and projection. Now in my opinion, this is a 6-hour kind of a lasting fragrance, projects really well, and it's got the first 45 minutes to 1 hour it projects really strong, and something that's very complementing, where at the same time you have this fruity vibe, you have a floral vibe, you have a woody vibe, and then there is oud, there is ambroxan as well. Overall, excellent budget value kind of fragrance, really underrated fragrance. And if you haven't tried Mani, you should definitely explore excellent alternate of K by Dolce & Gabbana. And in my opinion, this is again one of those fragrances that you can wear for parties, you can wear it for day wear, you can wear it for date nights, albeit wherever you want a strong fragrance, you should definitely consider wearing one of them. And in my opinion, again, this is a very versatile fragrance to wear all throughout the year, and both of you can wear it. It's a very unisex fragrance. If you are into soft fragrances, then go lighter on the spray, but otherwise, if you like this kind of a fragrance, you can definitely pull this off. Pretty good, excellent presentation. You should consider having this. This is Mani from Ahmed Al Maghribi. Number 6 on this particular list is a hidden gem, and I'm talking about Azure Royale. Now, Azure Royale is a classic out and out musk fragrance that's dominant upon marine accords and mostly good amount of musk oceanic type of a vibe. Now this will kind of has nuances of orthoparesis megamere to some extent, because it's got that saltiness, it's got that marine vibe, it's got a lot of musk, it's got a little bit of a woody element as well. But the way I would think about it is, you can think about this as a softer version of megamere. Now megamere is more out loud, it's a beast kind of a fragrance. This is a little softer on its scent profile, but works really well in high heat. So it's more of a summer fragrance that can be worn to gym, it can be worn to offices, it can be worn all across the year in my opinion, probably avoiding a little bit of the winters. But if you are in a high humidity place, high heat place, and you want a fragrance that lasts long, that's got a very musky approach, a good amount of woody approach, and nice marine element to go throughout, then this is definitely one of those fragrances to consider. It works really well. Very good value for money, sub 2000 rupees again, lasting again 6-7 hours roughly, and projects for about 45 minutes to 1 hour, and but then it's a very strong projection. Now the thing about this, and where is Muzna here. So the thing about Muzna and this is very similar, I would say, to some extent. This has got a fruity note which this does not have, but otherwise if you're looking for a standalone musk type of a fragrance that goes very well with marine accords and something throughout the year, you can definitely consider wearing Azure Royale. Moving to the top 5 part, and I have an absolute beautiful fragrance in Zellini. Now Zellini is one of those fragrances that I think is very unique in all of these type of fragrances, because it's something very different, and the way they have kind of done this is fabulous. This is basically a fragrance that's got passion fruit, it's got raspberries, it's got some strawberries, and then of course it does have a good amount of aquatic, marine musky kind of an approach as well. So in a way you can think about as Azure Royale, the same similar scent profile, but you have a fruity element here which makes this particular fragrance extremely unique. Now because of this, the fragrance has worked wonderful throughout the year, especially during summer. This has been an excellent fragrance to consider and wear, and I would say this is again one of those fragrances which came out this year and took people by surprise when they actually tried it. Some people also say that this has got elements of Versace's Eau Fraiche as well, but then I'm not too sure about it. But I would say if you're looking for a fruity, musky, marine, salty type of a fragrance with a little bit of green herbaceous vibe like patchouli, like woody element, then this is fantastic to wear. It's a fragrance that's very unique in its scent profile because of the tartness that you get from raspberry, strawberry type of an element. Overall, excellent fragrance with really good long-lasting performance of 6-7 hours in heat, and otherwise also it does very good, and apparel also it does perform very well. Office use, gym use, very good fragrance, and again very unisex as well. So this is something that you can definitely wear. This is Zellini from Ahmed. When we talk about Zellini, we also need to talk about the other flanker that comes in this particular beautiful bottle, which is Blue by Ahmed. And man, oh man, what a fragrance this has been. This probably has been the single most biggest find of this particular year in terms of alternates, because this is cloning the Bleu de Chanel. Now, especially if you like Bleu de Chanel, where there's that citrusy, incensey, sandalwood type of a fragrance that you want to wear for offices, you want to wear for any time of the year, you want a fragrance that can garner compliments, something that's very unique because of the incense and the citrus coming together with a good amount of sandalwood, and it brings a happiness on your face every time you sniff it. And if you're looking for an excellent alternate of a Bleu de Chanel, this is one to consider under budget, because this is sub 2000 rupees now, and for that price point I think you do get a very quality type of a fragrance, which is an excellent alt of the Bleu de Chanel EDP Parfum edition. It fits really, really well. The Armaf Iconic is also a good one to consider. That is a little more dominant on the sandalwood side, whereas this is a more balanced fragrance I would think about as Bleu de Chanel. Okay, so now yes, definitely good one to consider. Again, fantastic fragrance. 6-7 hours is easy on this one. It does last a little longer as well. Very mass appealing, very complimenting, and something that you can wear for offices, parties, even date nights. A very versatile fragrance in my opinion, and at under 2000 rupees, very good projection, very good performance. Definitely one of the best fragrances to consider. Moving to the top 3 fragrances from this particular house, and most definitely one of them has to be Ignite Oud. Now this was one of those fragrances, like which is really, really good because it's got that leather thing going across it. It's a leather sandalwood type of a fragrance, but then unlike Blue Oud, which is more dominant on sandalwood, this is a fragrance that's actually got more things going towards saffron, oriental leather type of a vibe. Now this is one of those fragrances that projects like crazy, performs like crazy, and people absolutely enjoy this particular fragrance. Now the oud is very well blended here with the leather vibe that you kind of get. So the saffron note and the sandalwood note just works amazingly beautiful. It does project really, really well. You just need a few sprays of this beauty and it does amazing wonders for you. You can wear it for 7-8 hours time. Projects really good, 3 feet plus, and a little expensive considering you should get this about 3000 rupees roughly for I think about 60 ml. A little expensive, but the quality of fragrance is superb. Very high quality, fabulous fragrance, and I think this is definitely one of the best to consider from the house of Ahmed Al Maghribi. This is Ignite Oud. Moving to number 2, and this I would say is one of the nicest fragrances that I've experienced this year, hands down, and I'm talking about Lathani from Ahmed. Now this is such a wonderful fragrance to try and explore. I really had to pick between this and another one to bring it to this particular list because this is so good. It is an alternate of the Jissas Imperial Valley. So it's a fragrance that's got good amount of citrusy elements, but then it's also got a lot of incensey elements. It's got a lot of bakur going on and a lot of oud as well. So overall, I would say that this is one of those typical Middle Eastern type of fragrance that you would be able to smell. And if you're looking for a very classic and uplifting type of a fragrance that is very complimenting, it's got this very unique signature smell and something that can be worn in a way where you will absolutely be noticed, then this Lathani is definitely there. Now the thing with this is a soft type of fragrance, but then it doesn't mean that people will not recognize this on you. You will get more than 3 feet plus of projection lasting close to 7-8 hours time and above, and the presentation is one of the best presentations that you will get. Now this is typically incense, a bakur, a citrus, that type of a fragrance coming together. So the scent profile is very Middle Eastern. There are 2 types of scent profile Middle Eastern people like. This is one of them, and that's why I kind of put it up there. Now the only factor why I put it at number 2 is probably because of its softer nature, but it's a fab fragrance to consider and one of the best that I would say from the house of Ahmed Al Maghribi as of now. This is Lathani. So that basically brings us to the number 1 fragrance in this particular list, and that without a doubt has to be this beautiful fragrance that I featured the other day, which is Bin Sheikh. Now, Bin Sheikh is absolutely those fragrances that has got oud that has got the type of a rose vibe that's going, it's got that sugar, it's got that oak mossy vibe, but then it's overall a fragrance that's heavy on oud, it's heavy on the sweetness, it's heavy on that rose vibe that you get from that sugar and all of the other elements that are there, amber, oak moss, beautiful type of a fragrance. And this is a reason why I picked this as the most wanted or the top fragrance in this house is the quality of oud that you get on this fragrance. Definitely not natural at all, it's definitely a compound, but the quality of that fragrance is so up that you will feel really classy. This is a fragrance that just talks richness and that talks luxury. Now, this is one of those fragrances that you can wear for celebrations, you can wear for weddings, you can wear for partying, and it is the absolute epitome of what a Middle Eastern fragrance is. So Middle Eastern people absolutely like oud, and they like that rose combo coming together with saffron and incense and all of that. This is the fragrance that just talks that Middle Eastern touch. So if you've been wanting to smell like how a sheikh smells like, or a harab smells like, and you've been wanting to get that feeling, there are two fragrances in this house that I would say that does that, 2 to 3. One is definitely Binchek, the number 1 fragrance that I would consider in this list, and second is Latani. Third, of course, is leather, or I would say you can choose Ignite Oud. Now, these are 3 fragrances that I would say are very good Middle Eastern fragrances, especially from a signature smell of how Middle Eastern fragrances smell like. One. Second, they are extremely long-lasting fragrances, and in these 3 fragrances, the scent quality is very high compared to the other ones that we have spoken about. Now, with Ahmed Al Maghribi fragrances, one thing is long-lasting, high scent quality, and absolute beast mode performance is something that you get. So all of these 3 are my top 3 picks, but even in that, if I have to just pick one between the 3 with the most difficult choice, it has to be Bin Sheikh. So I hope you like this particular video and the list that we've made here, and if you like, do pass on your comments and let me know how you like this video, and I'll see you on another one. Because of my little bit of my back problem, the L4 L5 bulge that I keep getting on and off, I've not been able to sit for long and record, so that's why you don't see my Hindi videos coming off recently. But it's been difficult for me to sit throughout for 20-30 minutes to record one video, but I absolutely will try and come back to that. So I will see you on another video. Until another time, take care. Bye bye.